Welcome. You have reached Imperial Reviews, and today's recap is Teacup, a Peacock original series. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let's get into it. So this is going to be the recap of episodes 1 and 2. It's a new series that launched on Peacock right in time for the Halloween season. They're launching 2 episodes a week leading up to Halloween. So go figure with that. So let's get into it. So the premise is basically an isolated ranch in rural Georgia. Several people are forced together to face a mysterious threat. So they're in rural Georgia, country, farms, animals, and it's following the family of the Chenoweth family. So you got the mom, Maggie, played by Yvonne Strahovski. Scott Speedman plays as James Chenoweth, which is the dad. Kathy Baker as Ellen Chenoweth. That's the grandma. Emily Bier as Merle Chenoweth. That's the daughter. Caleb Dolden as Arlo Chenoweth. That's the son. Then you have Boris McGyver as Donald Kelly. And then you have Luciano Lorix as Nicholas Shangley. So right off the bat, it starts off with this woman in the woods. And in the woods, she's chanting some words, and she had tie wraps on her arms, and she was breaking out of the tie wraps, and you don't know what's going on. Seems delirious, and she's just chanting some words and mumbling around. So that's how I start off. Then it goes to the Chenoweth family and their household, and you see the mom, Maggie, and the son, Arlo, and there was a bug on the inside of the room where the mom ended up capturing the bug and basically was saying, hey, you want to go with me outside to release the bug? And then showing the bond between Arlo and Maggie. He said, no, I'm going to stay here and watch you. You could go let it out. So the mom goes out to set the bug free. And of course, she sees her daughter, teenager, who's in her own world, listening to music. Then go downstairs, she sees the mother-in-law. The mother-in-law, you could tell there's some friction going on there. She frowned her face when she looked at the mother-in-law. So she goes out, makes eye contact with Arlo, and releases the bug. Meanwhile, the dad, he pops up, James, and you instantly see some kind of tension between them. And he told his wife, Maggie, pretty much to make peace with his mom. So he kind of mentioned that the animals have been acting a little funny and strange. So meanwhile, while they having this dialogue, Arlo sees a baby goat running off. And so that you instantly know while they not paying attention, Arlo's going to do a Houdini trick and dip off trying to chase this goat. So pretty much the husband said, make peace with my mom. Maggie goes in and speaks with the mom. And makes peace with the mom pretty much. And, she said she's, the mom getting older, got some health issues, smokes weed all the time to calm her nerves and help her with her condition. And so she pretty much said, I'm here to see the kids grow up and help my son, James, and she said, help you too, basically. So they made amends for the most part. And the mom was cooking dinner and pretty much said, tell everybody it's dinner time. Meanwhile, Arlo had already dipped off. And so now they told the daughter, Merle, pretty much get your brother. We already have dinner. At this time, one of their neighbors, Reuben Shangley, and his son, Nicholas Shangley, and a wife. and the wife is Valeria. And so they come in frantic, basically saying their horse is wounded, and Maggie's like a veterinarian, and so she has a clinic up the road, and so she sees the horse, and pretty much she had already seen her horses, and their stable was, pretty much frantic and acting abnormal. So she pretty much, at this moment, they realizing Arlo is missing. So everybody's looking for Arlo while they got to get tend to these horses. So she's going to go up to her clinic. She goes up to the clinic with Ruben. Meanwhile, Ruben's wife and son is back at the house while they all looking for Arlo. So instantly you notice some type of weirdness between um Valeria and James. So you like automatically your head goes, are they having an affair? So Nicholas and Meryl, they're looking for Arlo through the woods one way, and then James and Valeria looking for Arlo through the woods another way. So this is all, I'm combining 2 episodes in one. So these episodes is about roughly 30 minutes long. So I'm combining 2 episodes in one to recap them both or whatever. So the woman in the woods is still lurking. She ran into Arlo and pretty much scared Arlo, knocked him on the ground, and she didn't kill him, but she was all beat up. She was wounded, and she pretty much sat over top of him, and she zapped something in him. So you knew once whatever he gonna pop back up, he's gonna be possessed or something. So when the dad, he's walking in the woods with Valeria, he's having this conversation dialogue, basically telling Valeria she's saying it's just a matter of time before they find out. And he was like, my wife knows something went on, she just doesn't know who it was with. And so he was frantic because he's afraid that he lost his son. So he brought up a story about Meryl when she was little, and she hid in a stove. They had the cops there, they couldn't find it. Come to find out, Meryl was in the stove, and she fell asleep in the stove. They eventually found it, and what it was supposed to take place is that they were supposed to keep that story sacred amongst each other and never tell nobody. But in the heat of the moment, he ended up telling Valeria. So that took place, right? Now, they end up linking back. There was a dog named Duke in the woods. He was one of their other neighbors' dog. And that other neighbor, his name is Donald Kelly. And he had a wife. And so at the time, back at they all come back and they see something in the woods. They know it's something big. But they like, all right, everybody get out, get back. So they get back to the house. James going looking for a bat. Donald shows up. Donald got his AR. He like, yo, it's something in the woods and it's big. And it's bigger than Duke, but it ran off. So pretty much I'm gonna go look for it. And James like pretty much like, no, my son is out there. You great start World War, whatever with your AR. And so he's like, what you think you're gonna do with that bat if it's a coyote or something? So at this moment, Arlo comes out of nowhere and he's walking. He's delirious. He got all these scrapes and cuts on him. So they pretty much grab him, take him up in the house. Pretty much the episode ends around here. But when it ends, this picture that you see right here of this man, this guy shows up. And he shows up and he's spray painting a blue line around the premise of this place, this barn area. You don't know that, but you just see him. He's looking at the people there. So now Arlo is now chanting the same thing the woman was chanting, this chant. And so they like the mom is Maggie. What's wrong with my son? And she's trying to talk to him. So he's coming in and out of himself. At one moment, he's coming talking as himself, but then he's talking about whatever he's possessed by and or whatever. So the next episode is pretty much Maggie and Arlo having this dialogue the whole episode. Meanwhile, you got Donald who's in the woods trying to track down whatever's in the woods at this time with his gun. So the woman that was delirious that did that to Arlo, she comes out of her, the possessed being, and pretty much asking for help. And the dog, Black Wolf Dog, attacks her, and pretty much you look at the dog kills her, but you find out later maybe the dog didn't really kill her. So nevertheless, when Donna was in the woods, he tripped over her and dropped his gun, of course. Coincidence. So he tripped over, seeing that she's dead. Then he seen the big black dog. So then he was like, wow. So he just told the dog calm, and as he eased out of the woods. While this is happening, you got Nicholas and Merle. They go to school together. So they bond in. You can tell Nicholas likes her. That was a little moment. The grandma is trying to keep the peace with everybody in the house. So meanwhile, the grandma trying to keep peace with Valeria, Stanley, and Shanley, and Donald's wife. Now she's hysterical. She like, I just want to get home, make sure Donald's okay. I do have a landline. I'll call for 911. When I get there, she's like, I got Duke to protect me. Duke is a little dog. I mean, he's not a little dog, but he, she just don't want to be there. She's worried about Donald. Now, while all that's going on, the man that's out, I think his name is eventually going to be McNabb. I'm not sure, but he gets done painting the perimeter, and James sees him like, hey, what are you doing? They come running down. So he gets out the car, he put his mask back on, and he told them, like, slow down, like, chill. And he wrote on a board, like, do not cross the line. And they like, yo, what the hell, whatever, what you mean don't cross the line? And so he pretty much was drawing out. He didn't take the mask off. He drew it out that this is your perimeter. Don't leave the perimeter. And then when they looked like they was going across the line, he shot in the air to let them know, like, I mean business. So while all this is going on, Donald comes running at this time from the dog. And when he comes running from the dog or whatever, the dog swoops through and the dog attacks him on his arm. And so now he end up kicking the dog past the blue line. And instantly the dog fried and opened up like a parasite was inside of it and opened all the way up. It like burst through his body, skeleton hanging out, guts everywhere. So that when you see that, that's what you think is happened to the lady in the forest or whatever, or maybe she did get chewed up, but it looked like something burst out of her too, or that could have just been the bites from the dog, whatever. So at this time, the dialogue so they now know why not to cross the blue line. So now they see a light. So inside of the house, you have Donald's wife. She's anxious. I'm going home. And they, pretty much give her a light. So they see somebody with a light coming. Now they running to try to stop her. Like, hey, don't cross this line. Meanwhile, in the house, you have Maggie and Arlo having their dialogue. And then he's saying little things like, he says, we're trapped, we need to run, or we need to hide, because once whatever's coming, it kills everything in sight. And then she said, who said that? And he said, the voice in my head. Okay, so we're getting deeper, what's going on with Arlo or whatever. So now you got Donald, James, and Ruben pretty much trying to rush to get Donald's wife to not cross the line. So they did get there in time to stop her, but she pretty much like, I'm going home. and pushed Donald off of her and crossed the blue line. And Donald went to grab her. His hand instantly started to disintegrate and fry. And so he was having that, but they pulled him back in time. But her, she was all the way out there. So she pretty much disintegrated and burst open right there in front of everybody. And like as if it was, like I said, a parasite was in her. And her skeletons was hanging, her guts was all over the ground. So it just showed you like, okay, it's on. What's the storyline? So this kind of in spirit of Halloween, just a quick series to watch. They launching two episodes per every week, just to draw you in, something to watch. And so it is a decent episode series to tune into if you in the holiday spirit, something sci-fi, mysterious, to find out what's what and how all the dots connect. I'll be tuning in and recapping week to week. It seems like the episodes would be 2 episodes per week, 30-minute shows. So subscribe to the channel, like the video. Till next time.